Geraldine Pickering, a farmer who does comedy.
And I'm Adrian Pickering, an actor.
And we're sisters.
We sure are.
And this is our podcast.
Is this a job?
Is this a job? Because we're trying to work out how people in Australia that are in creative industries do it.
How have they figured it all out?
How can they pay the rent, and also all of the mental doubts and struggles and in between. So we're talking to
And create stuff and make stuff.
Exactly, and feel really proud and feel fulfilled. So we're talking to musicians, writers,
songwriters.
Songwriters, directors, actors, and comedians, because it is the comedy festival right now.
Sure is.
And things.
A lot of laughing going on.
There's a lot of
laughing.
We've just had the first weekend, and I've still got my show Sheepish until Sunday, the 6th of April. So if you're around 9 p.m, please come along.
I had a bumper night last night.
Yeah,
had some friends
it was really
in the crowd.
lovely. It was so nice, and it's really I was just kind of saying I'm actually really proud of the show. I actually really like it. I like saying it. I like seeing people's reactions to the strange farm stories. So I'm having fun. I'm having fun.
On you, Rosie. I'm proud of you. Good
Thanks,
on
Rennie.
you. I mean,
there's definitely been lows, as with any creative thing. You're I'm not going to take you through it. I don't think we need to go quite that low.
Let's not go there.
But it's hard when you're trying to sell things. That's kind of what you're trying to do, and it's not something that I think most comedians or most artistic people feel comfortable with, but it's such an integral part that you've got to sell yourself and promote yourself, and it's that part is really hard. But actually just doing the show is great. I was talking to someone and they suggested the idea of we should actually bring in Severance just for Comedy Festival. So that
to take the trauma away.
Exactly. So we can just swoop in for the hour show and actually do the really fun part, but we just have this other severed version that has to do all the promo and all the stressing and the reloading the ticket sales app and all of that stuff.
Does it bring some solace knowing that you're not alone, that everyone feels like that, and so there's it does, and I'm in a really good position, I think, within my comedy circles. I know some people maybe might be newer to Melbourne, and so they don't have as many good connections, but I've got some really great friends, and they're all so supportive. So it's and knowing that they're all going through it as well. I mean, it doesn't matter how big the theatre is or anything. I guess it's all just a part of it. But we keep doing it. We keep doing it. So you're getting something out of it and you're giving it to other people.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that thing is.
No.
But you are.
Well, should we just head straight into
the world of comedy and our guest today?
Which I'm so excited things worked out. We got her in.
We got her in the chair.
Thank you so much, Geraldine Hickey.
Here I am.
Yay!
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you so much. So exciting to have you. You've your accolades are many. You've done the gala. You've been on all the TV shows. You were just
won all the things.
Yeah.
I've done a couple of things.
Yeah. So you might have some really great sage advice. Hopefully it's not just don't do it.
Oh no, it's
about doing creative. Oh man. But so something that we start off with and ask our guests, because everyone's kind of a bit different about how comfortable they feel with their job. So what do you say you do when you're using the government forms or even in an Uber? Do you?
Oh yeah.
What's your occupation?
Yeah.
And people say, what?
Yeah, I'm a comedian.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's amazing. I think you're the first comedian that said that.
Oh really?
You must be
what
so
everyone
comfortable.
Else put entertainer?
Entertainer.
Yeah.
Admin.
Or even admin. They just lie. They're admin or consultant.
Writer, consultant. That was a really good one.
Yeah, Bronwyn Custard, administration.
Yeah, no, No, I just straight up say,
in it.
Comedian. Yeah.
And do you feel okay when they say, "Oh, tell us a joke"? Or,
yeah, I'm fine because
you've got a few up your sleeve ready to go.
There's just one that I have that works
just
every
for
time.
that occasion. Oh, that's great.
It's knock knock.
Who's there?
No one who'd knock on your door. And then that puts a stop.
Great.
They don't need to ask any more
further
questions after
Just
that.
silence for the rest of the trip then.
But it's usually like in an Uber or something, it's, it's like, oh, you do comedy and it's,
Anything I would have seen.
Yeah, and I'll just go, like maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's either they know or they don't.
Yeah.
And if they don't, there's like, who cares?
Yeah.
It's just.
I love that outlook.
Yeah.
You've obviously been doing comedy for a long time. I was looking at you've actually got a Wikipedia page,
yes.
but it said you were in the Raw finals in 2001. Is that when you started?
Start at the beginning of your comedy career?
Pretty much.
Like 25 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh gosh, it is that long ago, wasn't it? Yeah. So that was like kind of the first proper stand-up that I was doing. Yeah.
Wow, so you just launched into the big time really, because that's quite a good program to be a part of, isn't it? Like
it's an open mic
starting out.
Yeah, pretty much. It's an open mic competition. So it was like, I remember I was living at home in Albury and I was working at the cinema, and comedy was always something that I wanted to do. It's kind of like in the background.
Even when you're in like high school and stuff?
In high school, absolutely, yeah. It was my drama teacher that got me into comedy because it was one of those drama lessons where he wrote some words up on the board and he said you can interpret those lines however you feel. Get in pairs, interpret it however you want, and then do it for the class. And I did it, and then everybody laughed, and I was like, guys, I was trying to be serious that time. I was being serious. And he went, Jesse, you know what this means? And I went, that I can't act. And he goes, no, that you're a comedian and you should do comedy. But growing up in Albury in the 90s, I didn't know what that meant to do comedy. It's not like there was a lot of stand-up on TV or there was no stand-up in Albury at the time. It's not like I could go and watch it or anything.
It wasn't the touring kind of
so
stuff there is
I just didn't know what that entailed. But I just kind of, so it was always something in the back of my mind. And then, I was working at the cinema and I was very content. I was very happy working part-time.
Yeah. Eating the popcorn.
Yeah.
So this is like after school, so you've graduated and...
This is like, I attempted university but was no good.
What did you do?
Arts.
Yeah.
What do you mean, what did I do?
I don't know, criminology. I don't know. You decided to do something real different.
Yeah, no, I started.
You just did a Bachelor of Arts. Like, was it like writing focused or like?
I think there was like, theatre studies and, drama kind of things. But honestly, I did one semester. I was no good. And then I'd moved back home and then, I was working in the cinema. I'm like, this is great. I'm happy with this.
Yeah.
And then Mum was like, what are you going to do with your life? You can't work at the cinema for the rest of your life. And I was like, I'm going to be a comedian. And I was on the computer at the time. And while I was arguing with my mum, I entered Raw Comedy.
Wow.
Because she was like, hey, you're going to be a comedian. I'm like, I've entered this competition called Raw Comedy.
Good on you, Mum. So there you go. Thanks to Mum, really.
Yeah, she pushed you into it. If she was too supportive, maybe you wouldn't have done it.
Takes a bit of tough love.
I know. So, and then I just thought, Raw Comedy is just going to be my way of kind of working out what to do next. I'll meet other people that are doing stand-up. Like, I'd never been to a stand-up night or an open mic night or anything like that. I just didn't know how it all worked, and I thought, this is the way.
You didn't have material, as they say, or anything, or you sort of knew like where you fit in, like. Well,
I had things that I thought was funny. Like, it was just, you only needed 5 minutes. So I had like 5 minutes of material, and I did that, and I had my heat, and then I made it through to the next round. And I went, oh my gosh, now I have to write another 5 minutes because I didn't know.
You can't do the same thing.
I didn't. No, you can. Of course you can.
Yeah.
Of course you can. I didn't know that, though.
No, you don't when you start out.
Like, it's just because the only stand-up I would see would be on TV, and it was different every time.
Yeah.
So I would just be like, and the idea of doing the same material, I was just in my head with people sitting there thinking, going, yeah, just going, oh, I've heard it.
Know the punchline of this one.
Yeah, but they haven't seen it, and it's so well, that was a big lesson for me working it. And it was like, I think it was the next round, someone else was like, I was talking to someone else and they thought they had to write a new 5 minutes every time. I'm like, yeah.
What an idiot.
Oh.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. So I did. So made it through to the finals and got a runner up. And then from there, I was just like, well, that's it. I've made it.
Yeah, what a confidence boost though, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you haven't made it.
No.
Like, it's really just the beginning. And it was, it made it easier to get gigs when I eventually started going out and asking for gigs, because they'd be like, oh, yeah, we saw you on Raw.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can jump up, but yeah, it was a learning curve.
Yeah.
For sure.
So after that, did you then just move to Melbourne or
I did
Sydney,
actually. Yeah. No, I moved to Melbourne. I remember I went to my heat. My cousin was there, and he said, "When are you going to move to Melbourne?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I've got a really good job."
Albury twins.
Yeah, and he's like, I've got to find somewhere to live and, going to sort stuff out. And he goes, oh, well, there's a spare room at my place. Oh, so
great.
I went back home and I moved to Melbourne 2 weeks later.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good on you. So you really kind of trusted your instincts, I guess.
A little bit, or just naive.
Like, had enough chutzpah to really kind of go, all right, I'll give this a go. There were enough kind of green lights to get you to do it.
A little bit, yeah. And then I got a job and stuff, and I had other jobs for many years through whilst I was doing stand up.
Yeah,
just kind of weird sideline jobs or jobs that you feel like were sort of in the same realm.
Just whatever jobs I could get.
Yeah.
I worked at it was an indoor theme park. It was like a time zone, but it had a couple of simulation rides. But it was in the casino. It was Galactic Circus, and then at the back of that part of it, there was a bowling alley with a bar in it, and I worked there for about 10 years.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
wow.
I say 10 years. It must have been.
Wow.
It's one of those places where you don't know what time of day it is.
Exactly. No windows.
Yeah.
It was open 24 hours to begin with. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I worked there for many, many years.
Yeah.
And
no one will ever know how many years. Maybe. You might have been there for 15 years. Could have been
It's
2.
like space.
No
yeah.
No one knows.
It's full on. But
wow.
And then,
but you just always knew this is just temporary. I guess you were always thinking I'm focusing on stand up and
I wasn't focusing on anything. It was so weird. It was just I had no big future plans. I just was like, oh, I like this. This is a fun job.
Yeah.
I've got fun people to work with, and I've got my shifts, and I'm making enough to pay my rent, and And then the comedy was always just this, oh, yeah, I like doing comedy, and I'll just keep going because that's what you do, I'll write a show for the festival, and I'll do the comedy festival. And, to begin with was doing it with other people, like a split bill and stuff, and then just there was no kind of, oh, I hope I've got to do this so I can get to this stage. It was just like, I'll just go and
just keep
You're
going.
Sort of just enjoying the ride.
Yeah, a little bit, but I just didn't know.
Yeah.
I was just living day to day kind of thing. I was just like, I've got enough to pay rent and I've got enough to pay my registration fee for this, and hopefully I can, get enough people to come and see me that I can not have to pay money at the end of the festival.
Yeah. So did you just started entering into the comedy festival, and then you were doing your own shows? When was your first solo?
My first solo show was in like 2007, something like that, I think.
Wow. Yeah. Well, so that's not that early. I guess you were honing all your bits and your everything. For at least 6 years. I mean, if 2001 was your raw.
So the first, like I did raw comedy, and then for the next couple of years I didn't do that many gigs because I didn't
like the open mic.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Like I think it was a whole year of maybe I might have done a couple of gigs here and there.
There's no guidebook though, is there?
Exactly.
It's like everyone's journey is sort of different.
Yeah.
You just got to
and there
work
is
it
no
out.
right or wrong way.
Yeah.
So I just kind of.
And I'm sure. I mean, the comedy scene maybe it was, but I'm just assuming it wasn't as varied and as large as it is today. Like today you can get on like any night of the week.
Yes, in terms of venues.
Yeah, even open mics. Like there's it's everywhere.
It's probably about the same. I think there were plenty of nights to do comedy, and back in the day, it was you would get the Beat magazine.
Okay.
And the Beat magazine would have the comedy page and had listings of all the comedy rooms. So you just look on there, and there was comedy every night of the week. And most of those places I could go to and just go, hey, can I get a gig? But it was for me to actually make the effort to go and do those things.
Hard.
It was but then once you get into the routine of it, but it took me probably 1 to 2 years before I started actually pursuing gigs and stuff. And you make friends with other comedians, and then you have your community, you have your network, and then you just start going from there. But and then it's from that, doing that for a couple of years and then working up material and then going, oh, we should do the festival, and then might do it with a few other people and then do it again with a few other people. So it was a while before I went, okay, I've got a solo show ready to go. And I must have been 6 or 7. I can't, mid to late 2000s is when I did my first solo show. Yeah.
I'm really interested because it seems like comedians, a real key part is to find their authentic voice and to really sit within it and be okay with it, and that's what makes it so funny and helps people to enjoy it. So to stop the mimicking when there's a lot of different people around and you sort of like, oh, they're successful and that's funny, and maybe if I'd be like that. Did you find you had a real sense of like, I guess you were inherently funny growing up, so you knew what was funny about you. Do you think that made it easier, or has it changed over time? And have you gone through phases of going, who am I? What's funny?
Yes, that. But I always trusted that I was funny. But, it absolutely took me years to, find my voice, I guess. Because I started doing comedy and then as a straight woman. I was doing comedy for years before I'd come out.
Wow. So did you almost feel like it was a character? Like
a
it
little
wasn't
bit.
You, it was this other person on the stage.
A little bit. And because it was still kind of like me, but me kind like I did so many dick jokes to kind of compensate.
That's what other people were doing.
Wow.
Well,
no, it was just that too, but also to compensate. I'm like, because look at me, and then people, and I'd have to be in my head, just be like, I'm not gay. Yeah. I love dick. Like that kind of. But that was the kind of compensation that I'm. So it took me. A while. Yeah. And then I went, oh, no, you are gay.
That's not me.
Yeah. And so once I'd come out and started, and then it was like, I had a friend, he was like, you've always been you on stage, but now you're really you.
That's that's such a nice thing to hear, though.
Yeah, it was great. Went on from there.
Oh, wow, amazing. So, how were the first couple of shows? I'm interested because I'm only in my second solo show now, and you've been doing solos since. How
many? Yeah, done a few.
But how are you because there are some real hard moments. What kept you how were your first few solos, and then what kept you kind of keep keep going because you're like, you've just got to keep plugging away and like doing the time. And
I mean, it's the first. The first few years of doing solo shows, it was. I don't know why I kept doing it. Like it was just you just kept doing it because what else was there? And like I was, doing my show in like 30-seaters and would struggle to sell tickets for sure. And then or I do, get an average of 20 a night or something. Mm-hmm. And then when I'd apply for, a venue for the next year, I'd get the same again because they were like, you got an average of this many over. And it's like, but if you give me a bigger room, like if, I'd sell out, like I might sell out a couple of nights, but then if you give me a bigger room, then the average will go up. Like I'm not going to, I think their mentality was like, we're only selling like 20, so let's get you, whatever. So, so I had a couple of years of just being
feeling
stagnant, of just not being able to grow, and just being like, for years, just being like, why am I doing this? And there was, I think I did one year I was doing my solo show, but I was also in another show with a couple of people. We did it was a musical. But it was the most fun. It was amazing. Yeah. It was Lorraine's Hair and Face, and it was so ridiculous. It was like this play that had, a bit of music in it and stuff.
That you wrote with.
We all wrote it together. Yeah. It was with Andrea Powell and Scott Brennan. Okay. And so, it was so much fun. But at the end of that festival, like we'd hired a producer to kind of help out with everything. And then I had to pay thousands of dollars by the end. And it was just
thousands of dollars to do
this show because we paid this producer, but then like this producer like hired, someone to do like our posters. But it was my housemate who would normally do it for free for me. So it was just like, this is so...
So you're paying them a cut to talk to your housemate.
Just like, I mean, yes, my housemate should be paid, but if I had, like, it would have been...
you didn't need the middleman, so to say.
It's just like, we've made some bad decisions here.
You're trying to step up and you're finding yourself back to...
it just got like... So, just would have so many years of like just kind of just coping, just kind of getting through it and stuff.
Did you have someone to go like, keep going, or was it just in you? Because it must have been really like hard, those moments. And
it's kind of like,
say, like, well, you just keep going because there's nothing else, or
we keep going because
few days and then...
But your other friends keep going. Like you have other comics that they're doing shows, and you're just like, well, if you're going, I'll do a show.
It's that sort of shared community, like where you realise it's not personal and there's enough the positives that still outweigh the negatives. Yeah, so it kind of gets you through the hard times.
Yeah, and also because it's a year in between, so you forget how you feel in the moment. And you just go,
exactly.
This time
the heartbreak. Yeah,
this time it's going
to be different.
Yeah.
It's just like childbirth.
Yeah. Well, but I don't know. But yeah, but it's you just kind of keep going, and so and in the beginning it was always like, I guess I'll do another show because that's what everyone else is doing, and you want to be part of it all. Your friends are all doing. You want to. In my 20s it was like, we'll do a show and then we'll meet up at Festival Club and we'll go out down, we'll have the best time. And then it just, was just like, okay, got to do another show. And then, so years later it was like getting to the point of, okay, I got a job on breakfast radio doing on Triple R. So when I did that, like I'd already signed up to do a show that year. So I did that show and it went quite well. Like it was...
Because you'd kind of found your audience a little bit?
A little bit. It was a whole combination of things. It was like I just... just put more of an effort into writing the show And then I moved out of the festival managed space and went into like a, independent venue, which meant that I didn't have to go through Ticketmaster to sell the tickets, because it used to have to be through Ticketmaster, and so all those fees. So it was like, and this is, tickets would be like $20 or something, and so $6 straight away would go to like Ticketmaster, and then it was like the venue managed, venue, so the venue would get a cut, and then so by the time the ticket, it'd just be a couple of dollars
a ticket. Yeah, it is.
So then an independent venue, like bigger, is what, more than 30 seats. And then it was no ticket, so it just had so much more of the cut coming to me. So had made a profit that year, like a decent profit.
Yeah.
I remember it was like $4,000. Well, yeah, it was less than $5,000 because I remember had about $5,000 in debt. And she's now my wife, but she was my girlfriend at the time. I was like, oh my God, I've got so much money. And she was just like, yeah, you should just pay off your debt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had like
sensible.
It was just like, it was so silly. It was like I had, a credit card, and it was like a personal loan that I bought a car with, and that was it. She said, just pay off your debts. Because I was thinking, oh my God, I was going to have this money, I can pay a little bit off, and I'm not going to have to worry about the payments all year. And she goes, just pay it. I was just like, oh, what? Oh, and I did. I was just like, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Liberating.
Yeah. And then so was, and then for the rest of the year, was working on radio. And so when it got to the end of the year of like trying to decide, will I do a show next year? I kind of went, I don't know if I've got anything in me. Like, I don't know what I'm going to write about. I don't know what the show's going to be.
Yeah.
I think it's fine if I take a year off because I'm doing radio. No one would be like, oh my God, what are you doing? I think it's perfect, very acceptable to take a year off. And I was talking to Kath, about my wife, and she said, I'm not going to tell you what to do. It's completely up to you. But can I just remind you how much money you made at festival this year? And I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. And then it was something clicked, and I just went, yeah, because this is my job. And it's not just something I do because everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
I do this because it's my job, and I need to treat it like a job. So I went, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the festival, and I got a director who I have worked with every year since.
So what year was this?
Incredible.
Maybe 2018.
Oh, right. Okay.
2018, 2019. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a director that you had worked with before,
I knew,
not as a director.
Not
so
as a director, yeah. I just knew.
Actually pulled someone in to help direct a show with you.
Because I said, because I knew I was funny, and I knew I was, had these. I thought my shows were fine, and I said to, it's after I'd finished on air one morning. Richard Watts, who does Smart Arts on Triple R. Who, is a reviewer for editor for Arts Hub, has seen many, many shows, was a critic for The Age, and, knows how to write a review. Anyway, I went into him and I said, what's the difference between like an award-winning festival show and someone that can get up and kill for 50 minutes, like in a club? And he said, it's structure. I was like, okay, I need structure in my shows, and that's why I got Rachel, who's my director. She adds the structure in the shows.
Wow.
I bring the funny, and then we just work really well together in doing that, because she will see what I'm trying to say before I realise what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I'm pretty lucky, and so that year I did. I kind of had a different approach to writing a show. Like every year I would just kind of look back on my life over the past 12 months and be like, oh, what was the big struggle that I had, and how did I get through it? And so it was like, oh, this bad thing happened, and then but everything was fine. Good on, we've all done it.
So you would write the show as its own thing. It's not like you would kind of patchwork all your bits that you've been thinking about over the year.
This was the difference.
Yeah, I mean, it all does that.
Kind of
like,
do,
but it was like the starting point for a show would be, some big drama that whatever it would be, and then I would shoehorn the other bits and pieces in there or whatever. Like it would I'd just kind of get it out. But this year it was like, well, nothing bad has happened. I've had a really good, like everything is great.
Yeah.
Like I'm earning money. I've got this great job.
Yeah.
I'm in love, and I'd bought my first property. Bought this little apartment. I was just like, this is what am I going to, how do I make jokes about things
just
that are
being happy,
great.
Things that suck in life.
Yeah. And so the show that I wrote was called Things Are Going Well.
Yeah.
And it was just, I talked about how, what a difference it had been earning money, going from like, I knew what it was like to be not have money, and now I do have it. And it was just, talked about perspective of things and how, things are going on, because that's the way I choose to look at it. And then that show, I got nominated for the most outstanding show.
Yeah.
And it was just that from that point of like going from, this is a job, to like really putting in kind of researching and, making a real effort.
Yeah. And that clicked over the edge.
And then we got the, and then and I won the Piece of Wood Award that year as well. So it was huge. So 2019 it was. Yeah.
Big change in trajectory.
Yeah. So do you think, I mean, we've asked before, like, what do you think was your big break or something like that? And is that what, or like where you were just definitely like, oh great, this is a job now.
Would
you say that was like
for sure? It was like for me mentally, just going, this is a job. This is why, from my wife going, remember how much money you made? I'm like, oh yeah, I can make money from this now if I put in the effort. And I made a lot more money that year. Yeah. And then from that, I got management as well. And then so things, kicked off from there. So that was a huge difference getting money, because when I did spend all that time being self-produced, all paying someone else thousands of dollars
to talk to your housemate.
Yeah. So it was like this, I was independent for such a long time. Yeah. And then, when you do get, management and really good management that know what they're doing, it makes makes a big difference. Wow. And I appreciate them a lot.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So do you think like, so what do you say to young comedians or people that are like, I want to do what you do, or I want a career in the arts? Like, how do I do it?
You just keep going. You just have to keep going. Like, for me it was just like getting up again and again and again. And
but what if no one comes? What if no one comes one night? What do you do then?
No one comes for no one was coming for years.
Were they? Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. So you had nights when no one would come and you'd feel like... Oh. Yeah. There's so many nights.
Yeah.
And like I would be doing... I remember one night going... Yeah, it was when I was doing these two shows at the same time. So I'd do Lorraine's Hair and Face earlier, and we did the show in front of 4 people. And then so that's exhausting enough as it is.
Yeah, and comedy musical.
Yeah.
For 4 people.
And then
there's 3 of you as well.
Than watching the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was one night, I think it was the 4 people, we had 4 people, and one of them was Tony Martin. So it was just like
pressure.
It was a lot.
Tony.
He loved it.
Yeah.
It was great.
You want to impress him.
Yeah.
But it's
he's
funny.
a very kind person as well.
Exactly.
So supported you anyway. But
and then so just, you get through that, and then I had to go, walk down. I go, right, so I've got to go do my show. And then I walked in and there was like 3 people in there, and I was just, I can't do this. Yeah. I can't do it. Sorry, everybody. let's make this more relaxed. And I got everyone up and went, let's just go to the bar. And we just went downstairs and we sat in a booth.
Yeah.
And I did the show there. I just chatted to them for like 40 minutes or whatever in there. Yeah. But there was like 2 latecomers, these 2 women.
You had to find them seats in the booth.
Yeah, basically come
budge
in.
Budge up.
Trying to find the show.
And I was just like sorry. It was just, I just thought it'd be nicer if we were just here and more relaxed and stuff. And then I kind of finished it and they just went, well, okay, that was interesting.
Just like quietly.
Yeah, it was just like,
wow.
It was weird. But that's the thing, it's so exhausting.
Yeah.
Mentally and emotionally, like having to get up and do your material in front of 4 people or whatever, night after night after night. And it's just like, you know, you question everything about what you're doing. It's like, it's this, I know, no, this is funny. I know this is funny. Mm-hmm. What else can I do to make this better? Yeah. And sometimes there really isn't
no one here.
Anything you can do. It's just, it's out of your control, you know. Yeah. I did Edinburgh last year and like I've done Edinburgh the last 2 years. And the first year, you know, went like 2 years ago, I was like, realistic about how many people I would be getting to come to the show.
Whole new country.
This is going to, if I get to double digits every night, I'll be very happy.
Yeah.
And I kind of got, you know, was averaging maybe 20 a night, would sell out a few shows, and so was very happy. And so by the end of that, I was like, I can build an audience here. I'm going to come back. I can build. And then I went back last year and I had less people coming to see me.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. It was, and so it's like.
It's fickle sometimes, isn't it?
So, it's like I sell out theatres in Australia and I can't sell more than, you know, 50 tickets in Edinburgh. There was one night
very
I came in.
competitive there, right? There's a lot of venues,
totally.
It's a busy time
but
of
it's,
year.
Yeah, and you're competing against, you know, but it's the same here in Melbourne. It's just like, you know, and it's like unless someone picks, like it's so out of your control sometimes. Like I remember going in to my venue one night, like an hour before the show, and they had all the, you know, the box office, you know, they had TV screens with all the shows and had a whole list of them, and just next to all the shows like sold out, tickets available, sold out, limited availability, sold out.
Can be crushing.
The one show that had tickets available was mine, and this is I blocked it. I didn't need to take a photo; it's burned. But these are like, these are shows that. Like there are other Australians in there, and we're on the same level over there, and it's like nobody cares, like nobody knows what I've done here. And then so I remember flyering one night because I would go out and fly every night. I was out flyering and
I've talked to Ada. If you're listening, Ada gave me a look.
I encourage Rosie to do the flyers and
stuff.
Well,
I do.
It's a different culture.
I hate it.
It's a different culture.
I mean, it is really hard to do.
It's hard.
But like I still do it. Right? But it's just anyway.
But there's more of a culture in Edinburgh. Here it is much tougher because no one.
No one cares.
Yeah.
You see them people take your flyer and then they throw it on the ground.
Don't give it to them. Talk to them first. Keep your flyers.
Exactly. Yeah.
You keep it. Yeah.
Save your flyers.
Yeah. You just chat to them first, and if they want one, you can give it to them then. But I was like, you know, talking to this guy in Edinburgh, like, you know, flying, and he was like, oh, you know, I'm actually going to say something, you know, we're just having a chat, and he goes, oh, it must be pretty hard, you know, you've got to spend all this money coming over and stuff, and I just went, oh, it's fine, I'm loaded, so it's it's no problem.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was just going to ask, like, can you be vulnerable, or
I'm vulnerable all the time
in private or public, like publicly? Is it ever acceptable to be like, it's actually really hard, and
I don't,
one can, you know what I mean? There's such a like stoic kind of thing, like that, like a bit like that attitude of everything's fine. And I
think there's a fine balance.
I mean, it's hard for actors too, because I feel like we're scared that if we say no one will give me a job, no one will ever give me a job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's a fine line. You can't go
be that vulnerable.
Yes, you can't go. it's like nobody understands and also nobody cares.
Yeah.
And it's good to, so this is why having,
nobody really
having
cares.
a community of other comedians is so important during festivals, so you can vent to them about the, this is, nobody,
exactly what we were talking about before.
The public, they don't understand it, and they will, never understand it. And also it's hard. We don't understand it ourselves enough to be able to explain it to other people what it's like doing a festival show, because it's like every night you're just thinking about yourself, like 24 hours a day. And it's like, because you spend so much time trying to work out how to sell tickets, how to get bums on seats, and then it's like, is this a good show? Am I, do they like it? Should I be doing this?
Also,
it's
like analysing why something didn't work, and tweaking things.
And then you see you'll go and see other shows and you'll be like, where did all these people come from?
I know.
Like, what are they
it's hard
doing?
to not notice
why
those
does
things.
Why does everyone love that person and not me?
And what's happening? Like, and it's
what's
just,
the difference?
And it doesn't matter like how many people are coming to your shows. Like I do very well at the comedy festival now. It's like I remember when I was self-producing, doing that refresh of tickets, like and then I'll do a post, and then like 5 minutes later, has it worked?
Refresh. I
Like
know.
maybe if maybe should I do like a discount or something? I'll set up this and then I'll do that. And it's like it's selling tickets. It is fine, but it's still incredible how much in your head you still are like, is it
enough?
What are people, I don't know if I've given people what they want this year. And, because my show this year, there's nothing profound about it. And also but I really enjoy the show, and it's nice, but it's, but I'm still like, you'll read a review and it'll be like, it's just it's a nice time. And it's like, that's exactly that's exactly what it is. But I guess you're sure that's worth 3.5 stars. But but that's I've got to be but it's you still you do it. And it's anyway, I just think about the money.
Think about how much money you make, just rolling around in your bath of money when you get home.
Well, on that, I mean, money does get brought up quite a lot. I mean, obviously with like just in general with all of our interviews, what would be your best financial advice? Because this career, like you have to invest in yourself for years before you see any kind of return. Like what would be your best I might be putting you on the spot, but
no, I think it's never quit a job before you. Never feel like you have to quit a job to be a comedian.
That's interesting, because there is this kind of idea of like well, the only way to succeed
exactly it is be all in or you're not in, and like
that's what people talk about quite a lot.
It's different for different, but and if you feel that that's what you need a full-time commitment to do it all, then sure. But for me it was like because obviously I was doing radio.
Well, you found these great sort of comedy adjacent jobs. I mean, like radio and now like TV as well. But they're not. It's sort of all. It's still you, isn't it? So
exactly. But also before that, before I was doing radio, and even like it overlapped a little bit. Like I was doing after school care. So.
Wow, you have got a lot of the bowling alley, after school care.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And a pub, like hospitality, and then but I'd worked in like this after school care, and that was great, and I kept that for as long as I could. Material, but also it's a leveler as well. It's a real
leveler
because it was like I do. Because during festival it's like you're in your head all the time. But if you're working with children, like and it's school holidays, and you are with them for like 8 hours,
to think about it, I think.
It's like you can't have your phone, so you can't be scrolling, and the kids don't give a. They don't care about how many tickets.
Farm. Raven works at the farm.
Yeah.
If you know Geraldine. Yeah.
We went to that. We've been to that farm that you work at. We would go there for with the kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
One of the kids got spat on by it. It was great. Anyway,
by an alpaca.
alpaca. Yeah. Oh, the alpaca.
Yeah. 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 They do that.
Funny.
They're very aloof.
Yeah.
They do not like being.
But it was like this beautiful young girl who had Down syndrome, who would just she got spat in the face and then just didn't move. It was just like
stunned or just happened.
Yeah, where did it come from? I mean, that's a fair enough question.
Yeah.
But
my recommendation is to
Yeah.
And it's like, you can still do your comedy, just keep it going, but also having something to pay the bills, and don't just get out of your head that you're not a real comedian unless you're doing it full time, because you are. Like, you're doing it. Like, don't worry about whatever, and it's always, it's those men that have just working
made up the rule book.
Yeah. And it's just like, nah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we've talked about it a few times, but yeah, I still have this like weird issue of like, you just feel like, well, if I'm not making enough money from doing comedy, then do you call yourself a comedian? Because a comedian kind of implies that that's your job, so you're making money. But yeah, so it's kind of like this thing. But then you talk about it, you're like, I guess you're still an actor, even if you're not working.
Well, I do
so
start
it's kind
to
of
question
this
it
weird.
But overall, I think
that's
that
the hard thing about the creative when it like is coming and going. Like when I'm on stage, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a comedian, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
But when I'm like hands deep in alpaca shit,
like you're still a comedian.
That's still funny though.
Yeah. But you just hang it like but it's not just comedians, musicians and stuff as well. Like, think of how many people that are in bands and stuff that are also, your local barista and stuff. So it's like, you're still successful.
It's your own,
if but and then you might get to the stage where, you can quit, or basically you might have to quit.
Yeah.
Like I finished up on radio, not because I necessarily wanted to. It was just like I did it for 5 years, and I left because I wanted someone. It was such a great opportunity to do that job, and I was like, I didn't want to be selfish and be there all the time. So I was like, let's let someone else have a go. It's because the guy before me had done it. He was like, when we all started together, he did it for like 3 years, and he goes, I think I'm going to let someone else have a go now. I'm like, well, that's a good idea. I'm going to stay a little bit longer. But yeah, so and then but also it was getting to the stage where I couldn't, because I was doing radio, I couldn't tour. Like I couldn't, there's only a certain amount of shows that I could do interstate, and it was just on weekends and stuff. So it just, it got to that stage where it was like more opportunities opening up. So, but I think for, when you're in the middle, and I felt like I was in the middle bracket kind of world of career of comedy for 15 years or more. So, and it was just that, that mentality of keep going. And I won the Most Outstanding Show in 2021. And so it was 20 years after I'd done raw comedy.
Yeah. And so much hard work.
Yeah.
In that.
So in my acceptance speech, I said, this is dedicated to all those people that are in the middle of their career, and you feel like nobody's noticing you, and you feel like you're wondering, why am I doing this? Just keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going, because I did. And look at me now.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Can't say it better. I was going to say, is there any advice you would give yourself as to go easier on yourself? Or do you think you were? Do you think, as
it sounds
as
like you were always very level-headed.
Like you did have a good sense of just keep going.
It was early on. I was given advice, but I was told just run your own race. And I think that's the other problem with, comics when you're first starting out. You're trying to do what everyone else is doing, and then you're watching other people, and then you're seeing other people being more successful and getting more opportunities and stuff. And it's like, there's different reasons for that, and you might not know what the reasons are. So you just have to, run your own race. Don't compare yourself to other people. And I got told that very early on and stuck with it. And it was like, there was. Because I saw it like, quite often people starting out, like a couple of years after me, were getting, more opportunities and stuff, and it'd be like, oh, my God, they're on TV and doing this and that. And I remember, like, Celia Piccola started a couple of years after me. We became friends, and I directed her first solo show. And then I saw firsthand her work ethic. And I went, oh, this is why you're more successful. This is why you're getting these opportunities.
It's really gratifying
because you put in the work.
Yeah.
And I could see, like, I wasn't putting in as much work. And that's the thing, it's like you're not seeing what you might not. I'm not saying that everyone else would be working more, but it was
the craft of show writing, the craft of comedy, the craft of. Is that what you mean by putting in a lot of work?
Or she just had a good work ethic.
Mental discipline,
all of it.
To not get jealous, to not all of it.
Yeah.
Just all of it. Sort of applying yourself to the job.
Yeah.
Of comedy.
Yeah, pretty much. And and just being like not worried about, someone getting something, because it was like, they're better suited for that role. That's why they're doing that.
Exactly.
And something else will come up for you. Exactly. And if it doesn't, like, you just keep doing what you're doing.
On your own, right?
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah. I forget who said it, but there was someone that was like, it's not like you don't need to think of it as, well, someone took that opportunity from you. There's not like this finite opportunities and now there's none.
Yeah.
Like you just keep plugging away, and then eventually you'll, like, an opportunity might come, and it'll be in a
it is
different
possible
form.
that men have taken a lot of opportunities from women.
To be fair.
But
that's a different
up till now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really different now.
Yeah, you might get a couple women on a lineup, balanced, 2 out of 10. I was wondering a couple of things as you were talking, because it sounds like you were very grounded. Was it hard for your family around you, like your parents were like back in Albury and they were like, Geraldine, just do something like more?
No, because I had a job, so they didn't care.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Have they kind of, obviously, I mean, are they from like are they Albury like bred and raised? So they're like, this comedy world was so foreign, and they would have been scared, and they were like,
Mum was always, what you should do, teaching, just something as a backup, like just but then each year I kind of do festivals. They would never come, but eventually they did in the end, but it was always
really. So how long did it take? That would have been
because it was sort of unfamiliar for them.
Because I was talking about sucking dicks.
Oh yeah,
I didn't want them to see that.
Fair enough.
So once I got to the stage of like, and that was the mentality of as well. When I was writing shows, I would think about, who would be in the show, and would I be comfortable with them being in the room?
Yes.
It went from there.
Something Mum and Dad can come and see.
Yeah.
I was just thinking one of Rowan's shows was about periods. And I was thinking like my dad and his best friends came to that. And like,
it was like the last
really
7 minutes or so. It's just periods, because it was like one of my better bits, and it was going so well, and I was like, would keep thinking, I was like, should I put it in when he's in the crowd? And then he watched it. I could see him
very open. So
afterwards he was like, learned a lot.
Good. It's about time.
It's about time. Really.
Dad.
I know.
You should know this stuff.
No, he was very supportive. It's like I just could not make eye contact though, like anywhere else. But no. so obviously now comedy is your full time, like that's your thing. Do you think it's also really good to have something else that's grounding, like some other kind of hobby or like so what else do you do? Yeah. I mean,
I'm another hobby addict. What are your hobbies?
I'm a birder.
Yeah.
Bird watching. Yeah, bird watching, Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
Where do you go?
Wherever. And I'd take
in the forest?
all of it. I take and I'd take photos and I do a bird calendar every year. So I've turned this hobby
popular.
into
I love the bird calendar.
Yeah, to a money maker.
Because your photos actually, like, they're so good.
Actually,
I don't mean, but I mean for not a like paid photographer.
Yeah,
it's like they're so in focus. I mean, I don't know how to do any of that.
Autofocus, mate. I just bought a good camera and a big lens, and I put it on auto, and I put it on the shutter. So you just press down and it takes multiple
you must
photos.
have to wait a long time to get in the right spot for the bird.
No, you just keep walking. I walk to them. I walk to them. You just walk around, and you listen out and go, oh, there's bird. Wow. And then,
But that's so relaxing as well.
It is. It's very meditative as well, because it's like when you're bird watching, like it was, someone once described it, it's the best description, it's bushwalking with a purpose. And that's what you want. Like rather than just going for a walk, it's like I've got a purpose on this walk. It's like I'm walking and looking up, and so you're not listening to anything else, and it's like you're looking, there's look at that one.
Yeah. Or like you hear a call or your
favourites?
Yeah.
Do you like the rare birds that are harder to see? Is that
the eastern whitbird is notoriously hard to photograph because it likes to live like under like low to the ground in the thick shrubs and stuff. So it's when it comes out, and it's very fast moving, so it's not in one spot for very long. But it's got one of the best calls, so you know that they're there.
Is it that whip?
It's the whip. It's the at the end, but it's
so they're toying with you. Yeah, because you can hear them.
You can
hear them, but you can't. But so when I got a good photo of an eastern whip,
you got one.
Yeah, I've got a few now, but it was. I remember the first time.
Exhilarating.
It was just like, oh my god,
it's
so good. Yeah. Well, just any bird, that I haven't got a photo of before. It's it's always pretty exciting. So I'll take my and it's a good thing to do on tour and stuff. Though, I'll take my camera and go to places, and you can do bird watching anywhere. Anywhere.
Yeah.
So bird watching, like hiking, walking and stuff, and running, like go for jogs, and that's good.
Yeah, they also I was gonna say they also very like calming kind of hobbies, and
it's just the things that get you out of your head.
World. Out of your head and like into the bigger world.
But also kind of
nature and the bigger things.
But also, I mean, they say all those things are good for like exposing yourself to just having ideas come to you, like all those relaxing, like going for a walk and a run, all those things are supposed to
activity.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
that's it.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Want to get out there and watch some birds?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. It's just been so wonderful listening to you talk.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
What are your hot tips?
Sort of hot tips for the world.
I think I've got quite a few hot tips from this, but I am definitely of a similar leaning to you, that all my outside hobbies are very nature based. I mean, it's very much like in the environment, and I actually really like my job. Like I really like being being out on a farm. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't really understand. I mean, I understand it works for some people, but the mentality of,
as long as you've still got the drive to do it, then it's fine.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. I think that is it's a good tip to kind of feel balanced as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And also there's no rush for anything. I used to live on the same street as Denise Scott. And I remember I was walking home after festival one night, like during festival, got off the train, was walking back, and then she was, getting out of the car at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
I was walking past her place. I was like, "Oh, Denise, how are you?" And she's like, "Do you know what? I've had the best night of my life. All I've ever wanted to do was comedy in a theatre, and tonight I did it." And she was, in her 50s, and I was just like, I can't believe that's the first time you've done it. And I was just like, there's still heaps of time for me.
Yeah.
So
it takes the pressure off of it.
Yeah.
So she's like, "What are you doing? Let's come in and drink wine." I'm like, "Yes." So
hell yeah.
Yeah, it was great. So it was that, just knowing that there's plany of time to do it all. So there's no rush. You just keep going.
Just keep going.
Let's go.
Keep going. Just keep going. All right.
Well, thank you so much, Geraldine. And you've got the whole comedy festival run. You're doing right up till April 20th, right?
Doing the whole run with an
you.
extra show on April 12th.
Oh, amazing.
Yes, so come along. Meander. It's all about going for walks.
Yeah.
Wander down.
Connecting with nature.
Yeah.
Lovely. It's just a fun show.
Fun show. Going for it. Let's go on a meander.
Yeah. Love it.
Sounds lovely.
Great. And come to my show. I'm on until the 6th of April, so that's just till Sunday. Come on. Yeah, sheepish. You might even see
sheepish.
If you come, you might even see
another Pickering in the audience.
Yes.
Whoa.
Wow, 2 for 1.
I can't wait.
But awesome. Yeah. And as we end every episode,
what do we end with, Raywin?
Thank you. This is great improv.
Thank you for listening. If you liked us, please tell a friend or two. Apparently that's how these things work. We want to acknowledge the incredible stories, culture, resilience and creativity of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities, in particular the beautiful lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nations, where this podcast is recorded. Thank you also to Chris Pickering for the music and Vincent Pickering for the logo and animations. And yes, they are our brothers. We're everywhere.